Namaste. Welcome to Vedic Dialogues. Have you ever felt that, that familiar pang of injustice, that burning desire maybe to lash out, or just that heavy knot of resentment that seems to tie you down after someone's wronged you?
Ow.
It's a profoundly human experience, isn't it? A struggle we all face internally.
Oh, it truly is, yeah.
Yeah.
And that internal turmoil, it can be incredibly draining. It stops us from moving forward, and often, maybe surprisingly, it hurts us more than the original offense ever did.
Absolutely. Yeah, that resonates. So today we're embarking on quite a profound journey, actually. A deep dive into a concept that offers a really powerful pathway to inner peace and, well, spiritual growth.
Kshama.
Forgiveness.
Yeah.
Our mission today isn't just to define forgiveness in a dictionary sense. We want to really understand it as a transformative power, connecting its essence to your well-being, your inner state, and also the universal law of karma.
That connection is key.
So let's begin right there. Let's explore its true nature. What exactly is forgiveness, especially when we look at it through the lens of Vedic wisdom? Because, it feels like it goes far beyond just saying, it's okay.
You're absolutely right. It's much, much deeper than just a superficial nod. Kshama, it's such a beautiful Sanskrit term. It really encompasses patience, forbearance, and forgiveness in its deepest sense.
Patience, forbearance, forgiveness?
Yeah. And at its core, it's a conscious decision, a deliberate one. You relinquish your right to get even. That's fundamental. It means consciously releasing those really heavy feelings, resentment, hate, grudges towards someone who's caused you harm. Crucially, it's not about excusing what they did. Not at all. It's about freeing yourself from its emotional grip.
Okay, so freeing yourself. It's less about the other person then, and more about an internal release for oneself. Does that mean reconciliation, like making up, is secondary, or maybe even unnecessary for the act of forgiveness itself?
That's a really crucial distinction to make.
Yeah.
Vedic teachings often highlight that Kshama has this dual aspect. It's about forgiving others for the wrongs they've done to you, sure. But just as importantly, it's about seeking forgiveness for any harm you might have caused.
Ah, right. The two-way street.
Exactly. It's a two-way street of, you could say, spiritual cleansing. And the ancient texts, they really emphasize that this act of forgiveness is primarily internal. It happens within you. Reconciliation. That's a wonderful outcome. If it happens, fantastic. But the act of forgiveness itself, it's complete within you. It doesn't actually depend on the other person's response or apology.
So you can forgive even if they never say sorry.
Precisely. And look, the Mahabharata, one of our great epics, puts it so powerfully. It says, let me recall, forgiveness is virtue, forgiveness is sacrifice, forgiveness is the Vedas, Hinduism's most ancient sacred texts. Forgiveness is the Shruti, those timeless revealed truths. He that knoweth this is capable of forgiving everything. Forgiveness is Brahma, forgiveness is truth, and by forgiveness is it that the universe is held together.
Wow, by forgiveness, the universe is held together. That's incredibly profound. It's suggesting it's fundamental, to cosmic existence itself, far more than just a personal virtue.
Yes, absolutely. And this concept, it's so fundamental that it's actually listed as one of the 10 traditional yamas.
The yamas, the ethical restraints.
Exactly. The ethical restraints or observances found in ancient Vedic scriptures, like the Manusmriti. These yamas, they're really foundational principles for living a virtuous, disciplined life, guiding individuals towards spiritual growth.
Okay, so we've started to unpack what Kshama is. But here's where it gets really interesting for me, and probably for many listening. Why? Why is letting go? Especially when you feel that righteous indignation. Why is it so vital for us, for the ones who are hurt? It often feels, counterintuitive, like we deserve to hold on to that anger sometimes.
That feeling is incredibly common, yes. And it's a really important point to address. Because ultimately, holding on to anger, resentment, vengefulness, it primarily hurts you. It fills your inner world with negativity, with toxicity, really. And it genuinely hinders your spiritual evolution. It blocks it. As ancient wisdom often reminds us, through all that pent-up negativity, we often end up hurting ourselves, possibly even more than the initial harm caused by the other person.
It's like that saying, drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer.
That's a perfect analogy, yes. It frames forgiveness not as some kind of moral obligation you grudgingly extend to someone else, but as a strategic act, an act of profound spiritual self-preservation.
Spiritual self-preservation. I like that framing.
Exactly. And spiritual teachers have pointed this out for ages. Forgiveness, or Kshama, is actually more crucial for making peace within yourself than it is for, say, restoring a relationship with the person who hurt you. It frees your mind from that relentless burden, that loop of pain, and it prevents those painful issues from just constantly resurfacing, especially when you're feeling vulnerable or trying to grow.
So it stops the cycle.
It does. Forgiveness actually frees up your vital emotional energy. Think about it. It allows you to choose your emotions, rather than being constantly determined or triggered by external circumstances or past hurts. You regain control.
So the freedom comes not from the other person changing or apologizing even, but from our own internal shift. This completely reframes who receives the gift of forgiveness, doesn't it? It sounds like it's an act of, well, profound spiritual self-liberation.
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. As many spiritual traditions teach, you forgive not as a favor to others, but as a profound favor, a gift to yourself. If we're not forgiving, we are quite literally harming ourselves. We're spoiling our own mind, our own inner space. And every time you manage to overcome your hurt, you're essentially overcoming your own little self, your ego. Because it's often the ego that insists on holding on to grievances, right? How dare they?
The ego loves to feel wronged.
Yeah, it does. And great spiritual masters, like Sri Sathya Sai Baba, for instance, deeply emphasize this. He taught that forbearance and forgiveness are absolutely essential qualities for anyone seeking inner peace. He said, quite simply, that without these, peace remains elusive.
And this ties directly into what ancient texts describe as Ashanti, doesn't it? That inner disturbance, the self-generated suffering.
Precisely. Our own body, mind, thought system, our ego. They can be significant sources of that inner disturbance. This is known as atatmikami suffering generated from within the self. Forgiveness is a direct, powerful solution to these internal challenges. It helps us uncover the peace that actually is already within us. It's our true nature.
Okay, it's leading us towards a bigger philosophical picture now. How does forgiveness, Sri Kshama, tie into these larger spiritual concepts like love and, of course, karma, which are just so central to Vedic philosophy?
They are absolutely central. And forgiveness is deeply, you could say, inextricably intertwined with both. Let's start with love. There's a profound teaching from a revered spiritual master that says, quite simply, love gives and forgives, ego gets and forgets.
Love gives and forgives, ego gets and forgets.
Yeah.
Simple, but powerful.
Isn't it? It beautifully encapsulates the essence. Divine love, in this context, is inherently selfless.
Right.
It gives freely and it forgives freely, expecting nothing in return. This is considered the highest form of love, known as prema. And this kind of love, this prema, actively drives away negative thoughts and powerfully promotes the spirit of forgiveness within us. It's often said that love, true love, has such a great quality that it can forgive any blemishes, any mistakes.
So love is almost like the engine for forgiveness.
You could certainly see it that way, yes.
Yeah.
And then there's karma.
Right, karma. This is where it gets particularly interesting for many, I think. Because karma often seems to imply, getting what you deserve, cause and effect, which on the surface might seem opposite to forgiving someone who wronged you.
That's a very common misconception, and it's where a deeper understanding of karma really illuminates the nature of forgiveness. Karma is the universal law of Dharma, of righteousness, of order, and, yes, of justice. The principle is, what you offer to the world comes back to you. Fair enough. Every experience you undergo, good or bad, is something you have, in some sense, earned through past actions, thoughts, intentions, across lifetimes, perhaps.
Okay.
So from a deeper Vedic perspective, those who seemingly do bad things to us, they're often simply instruments. Instruments bringing forth the fruits of our own prior karmas, things we set in motion earlier.
That's a significant shift in perspective. They're delivering what was already in the mail, so to speak.
Exactly. And so we are encouraged to accept this not passively, but wisely, without assigning ultimate blame or seeking retribution. We understand that the doer is also operating under their own karmic laws and will face their own consequences without our needing to intervene or hold on to bitterness.
So forgiving them isn't about letting them off the hook in some cosmic sense, but it's about wisely navigating your own karmic landscape. That really changes the whole narrative, doesn't it?
It fundamentally shifts the narrative.
Yes.
And a crucial insight from spiritual teachings is that forgiveness actively, it diffuses that karmic intensity.
Diffuses the intensity.
Okay. Well, some teachings offer a powerful three-step process for this internal release, this diffusion. First, you say internally, I forgive myself. This acknowledges your own part, however subtle, in the whole karmic play, maybe attracting that situation through past patterns. Second, I forgive you for what you did. This releases the other person from your internal judgment and blame. And third, crucially, I forgive you for causing me hurt. This final step is vital because it releases your soul from the suffocation of that emotional pain. I forgive myself, I forgive you for the act, I forgive you for the hurt. That's very clear. It is. And by engaging in this process, you actively break cycles of negativity, not just for yourself, but potentially affecting the collective karma too. Our individual actions, especially our acts of forgiveness, contribute not just to our personal well-being, but also ripple outwards, contributing to the larger harmony or disharmony of the world.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly beautiful in theory, this deep spiritual wisdom. But, the rubber meets the road in daily life. How do we actually practice this? How do we cultivate this profound quality of Kshama when we're feeling hurt or angry? Are there examples, maybe steps we can take?
Yeah, that's always the key question, isn't it? The practical application. First, and this is vital to internalize, forgiveness comes through strength, not weakness. A weak person, someone consumed by fear or ego, cannot truly forgive. They might suppress or pretend, but true release requires inner strength.
Okay, so it's not about being a doormat.
Not at all. This doesn't mean you become vulnerable or foolishly allow people to cheat or harm you repeatedly. No. It means you learn the lessons from the experience. You absolutely protect yourself, set firm boundaries if necessary, but you fundamentally release the internal burden, the emotional hurt, the grudge, the resentment. You separate the lesson and the boundary from the poison of bitterness.
So wisdom and self-preservation working alongside forgiveness, that's a powerful distinction.
Precisely. And in terms of specific practices, spiritual masters often advise simple but profound things. Cultivate forgiveness actively. Make a conscious effort. And refrain from harshness in speech. That itself is a practice. We are taught to try and forgive those who harm and criticize us, to cultivate faith that whatever happens, even painful things, might ultimately be for our own good, for our learning. And crucially, not to retaliate. Retaliation just pours more fuel on the karmic fire.
Resisting that urge to hit back.
Yes. There's even a teaching that suggests if someone hurls abuses at you, you should internally inquire. Are they criticizing my body or are they criticizing my atma, my soul? If it's the body, well, it's just a temporary collection of matter will pass away. I get so worked up. If they think they're criticizing the atma, the soul, well, then they are actually criticizing their own self because the same divine atma resides in all beings. It reframes the insult entirely.
That's a fascinating mental exercise.
It helps detach. And overall, we must consciously cultivate a loving disposition, what's called prima tattva. This inherent loving nature helps to naturally arrest those negative qualities like tension, envy, pride, which often block forgiveness.
And what about the stories? Our scriptures are so rich with narratives. Are there particular stories that really embody this idea of Kshama in action?
Oh, absolutely. Many powerful examples. Think of Lord Rama in the Ramayana. He famously forgave his stepmother, Kaikeyi. Remember, her actions led directly to his 14-year exile in the forest. That's huge. His forgiveness shows immense forbearance.
A truly classic example.
And then there's Sita, Rama's consort. She displayed incredible Kshama while imprisoned in Lanka. She forgave the Rakshasas, the demonesses who guarded and tormented her constantly during her abduction. There's even a story where she forgave a crow that physically harmed her. It shows that forgiveness can be extended even without any apology or sign of repentance from the other party.
That's such a powerful point again. Forgiveness for your own liberation, your own peace, not dependent on the other person's regret or change. It really is an internal process.
Yes, fundamentally it is. And in the Mahabharata, you have Yudhishthira, often called Dharmaraja, the king of righteousness. He consistently emphasized the importance of forgiving his cousins, the Kauravas, despite their relentless animosity and wrongful actions. He understood that only through forgiveness could he truly achieve peace.
Even amidst a great war.
Even then. There's also the beautiful story of King Ambarish, a great devotee. He instantly forgave the powerful sage Durvasa who had unjustly cursed him out of anger. Ambarish's forgiveness, his lack of malice, was so pure and potent that it actually compelled Lord Vishnu himself to intervene and protect Ambarish, even repealing the Sudarshana chakra sent to punish Durvasa. It shows the power of devotees' forgiveness.
Wow, it influenced divine action.
It did. And think also of the Buddha. There's a story where villagers came to him, condemning a woman they considered to be of bad character. Instead of joining the condemnation, the Buddha guided them towards understanding collective responsibility and compassion, rather than just rushing to judgment. It shows a broader perspective, beyond simple blame.
These stories definitely show it's possible, even in the most extreme circumstances. What about the role of, well, the divine itself in this journey of forgiveness? How does surrender or faith play into it?
That's a crucial element. A profound example comes from teachings about Lord Shiva. Shiva is known as Kalahantri, the vanquisher of time or death. He protected the young devotee Markandeya from Yama, the deity of death. Why? Because Markandeya completely surrendered to Shiva, embracing the Shiva lingam at the moment of death. This demonstrates divine forgiveness and absolute protection upon sincere, total surrender.
Surrender brings grace.
Yes, and Lord Shiva also has the name Pinakindu Harahariya. This means he wields the Pinaka bow and executes cosmic justice against wrongdoers. The law of karma operates. Yet he is also a Bhakta Priya, the one who dearly loves his devotees. This beautiful paradox shows that while cosmic laws function, sincere repentance, true penitence, and taking refuge in the divine can absolutely transform one's actions and attract profound forgiveness. If you genuinely feel regret, seek divine forgiveness, and surrender, take refuge. All past actions, all karmic debts can potentially be transformed or wiped away. Loving God wholeheartedly, purely is often taught as the ultimate path, naturally leading to the forgiveness of sins and freeing you from those karmic burdens.
Thank you. This has been a truly insightful exploration. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the liberating power of forgiveness here on Vedic Dialogues. We've explored how Kshama is really not just a simple act, but a profound spiritual journey, a powerful virtue. And ultimately, as we discussed, it's a transformative gift we bestow upon ourselves, deeply connected to love and the universal law of karma.
Indeed. And perhaps something to leave you with to consider. Think about the profound impact of actively cultivating Kshama in your own life. If forgiving others and perhaps yourself truly frees your soul, as the sages say, and helps diffuse that karmic intensity, what small act of forgiveness could you practice today? Maybe towards yourself for a past mistake, or towards another for a lingering hurt, however small. What step could you take right now to start experiencing some of that liberating peace we've talked about?
It's a powerful thought to reflect on. We encourage you to really consider your own experiences with forgiveness, maybe see them in a new light after our conversation. How might this deep dive change your perspective, perhaps inviting more peace and freedom into your life? Until next time on Vedic Dialogues, may you find peace within, and may you help spread it around you.